There you are.
There we go. Y'all can hear me now.
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear
sir.
you.
Yes,
What's going
sir.
on? I forgot I'm on two devices, but you know what time it is. You know what week it is. It is Dallas week. It is, it's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco. I can't even talk. I'm all riled up, you know what I'm saying? But got my boy Brandon here with me, and I got my boy back. One of the very rare Dallas Cowboy fans that I still got respect for, because he out here still repping. But we got my boy Nate. What's good, my man?
What's good, baby? Nate Dogg?
So how you feeling, bro? How you feel? How are both of y'all feeling, man? This is the week we all waited for. You know what I'm saying? This is the week we have all waited for. What are y'all thoughts?
You can go ahead,
Go
Nate.
ahead, B.
All right, fine. I'll take it.
Well,
I'm excited,
the
man. I'm
the
excited,
feeling
yo.
the feelings that I feel,
Yeah, how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
man, right now at this moment, since we haven't played, and it feels like we haven't played in forever, and I feel like that loss was so bad, and I literally forgot about it Monday morning that I feel like it's week one right now. Like I'm so hyped right now.
Bro, I mean, seriously, it's like if we're not looking at the records, this is a hype game. It's Eagles Cowboys. It's 1 out of 2 weeks you look forward to in the year. Like, yeah, there's the Washington, yeah, there's the Giants, and like I had the rivalries too. But I just to me personally, Dallas week is always super hype for me, and I'm just excited that this game's here, and I hopefully not depressed by the end of the night.
Hey, bro, like I've said this to both of y'all, man. I don't care if I'm playing quarterback. If you can't get up for Dallas week, or in your concern, your retrospect, I should say, it's the Eagles week. But either way, if you can't get up for this rivalry week, I can't call you a fan, man. I just can't call you a fan. This is something different. I mean, I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna be 100% honest on the podcast. I'm gonna be real with y'all. At the end of the day, we should beat them. And that's what makes me nervous. But I want to know from both of you guys, is this a trap game? Do you think this could turn into a trap game?
I mean, me personally, I don't think it's a trap game because of our records. It's one thing if you look at either team, if one team was like 6-0 right now or 7-0 or whatever, and the other team was the record that they are either 2-5 or 2-4-1, then yeah, you could say, you know what, it could be a trap game. But with the way that both Eagles and Cowboys are hurt with injuries, both teams are hurt with injuries. Dallas has their third string quarterback, but our records are still pretty much the same. You can't call it a trap game. It's just the game of a dumpster division, but to us, it's just exciting.
Man, I wouldn't say it's a trap game. I mean, the Eagles, based off of how y'all played the Ravens and the Steelers, you guys should be a favorite to win the division and everything. Um, I'm just looking at this as what kind of fight do we have? You know, are we going to come out that first two drives and kind of look lost, pointing fingers, head down to the ground? And I think the game is determined the first two possessions, point blank, period. Ain't no we have a bad first quarter and then we'll figure it out. The first two possessions, since we played so bad the last 2 weeks, that's going to determine the outcome of the game, whether it's competitive, not competitive, or what we're going to do. So I wouldn't say it's a trap game. I think it's a identity check, and I honestly truly believe Mike McCarthy's coaching for his job this game in terms of how we play with effort. I think that's the biggest thing is effort. We can't go in there, losing 31-3. We can't go in there game over by the end of the first quarter, fumbling the ball, all that stuff. I think it got to be competitive.
Now that brings me to the next question. This was what I wanted to ask in the beginning, but I want to know why this game matters. I know honestly, for both of us, we could both kind of throw in the towel, say we got injuries, this, this, that. It's not a big game anymore. But why does this game matter? Historically, just as fans too.
I mean, when it comes to Cowboys week, it's because I don't have too many friends that are Eagles fans. I have a couple of friends, like a lot of maybe like 4 close friends that are Cowboy fans. So every year it's just like going at it. We're talking crap to each other. We're just going back and forth. No matter the record, every year we're like, maybe one year we're like, we're gonna spoil the playoffs for you guys. Or it comes to the end of the season. I feel like it's always the end of the season when it comes down to Eagles, Cowboys. They're lined up against each other, and the winner of that takes a division. Like last year, for instance. But it's just like to be able to have those bragging rights, to be able to talk to the other person, and be like, but at least we beat y'all, right? Stuff like that. It's fun rivalries. It's just, like I said, you drop the records. It's just the Eagles, Cowboys, and it's a good time.
Man, I think the Eagles in the last 3 or 4 years took over the best rivalry in the division. If you guys don't remember, it used to be the Giants and Cowboys. Everybody used to talk about in the division, and then the Giants kind of, they went down in the dumps and they haven't been relevant in about 4 or 5 years. But I think it's just something to look forward to. There's always a nasty hit. There's always pushing and shoving. There's always arguments, fights. I mean, you guys could be up by 2 touchdowns. We'll make it a game, or vice versa. There's always something dramatic going on. And at the end of the day, even tonight, hopefully it's a competitive matchup, and we all hope for it. Everybody gonna forget about the record. Let's just forget about it. Even people that are not Cowboy or Eagles fans are gonna tune in. The game is gonna be so competitive. You're gonna think both teams are 5-0 fighting for first place. That's what that's the environment is gonna feel like.
Yeah, I feel like people sleep on the rivalry. I mean, it is what it is. We both aren't what we want us to be. Obviously, I'm not a might be at all, but this is what we come for. You know what I'm saying? I've heard Eagles fans, and I have to agree with some of them. They said, I don't care if we go 2-14, if our 2 wins are against the Cowboys, we'll figure it out next year. Like, and to be honest, I feel that way a lot of times too. It's like, I just don't want to hear you guys. And to Brandon's point, I think a lot of my friends are Cowboys fans. Everybody makes mistakes in lives, but I look past that, and I try to be y'all friends. But to kind of keep going on this, because you said that you feel like McCarthy is coaching for his job. Do you really think like this is something that could happen mid-season? I think we both have owners that wouldn't really do that mid-season, but do you think that's something off-season they would really consider letting him go?
I think Jason Garrett. I think Jerry Jones learned with Jason Garrett in terms of we can't let this go on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. McCarthy, I think, signed a 4 or 5 year deal, but we all know Jerry Jones. If y'all didn't know, he's 78. He ain't getting any younger, so he can't wait 8, 9 years to figure out if he wants to get rid of McCarthy or whatever the results may be. Now, I think it goes 2 ways. I think he's either going to fire him at the end of the season, or B, he's going to tell him, you need to get rid of everybody on this staff, and you got to go find people that are outside your buddy circle that are supposedly watching film with you the last year. And if at that point your new coaching staff doesn't get it done next year, you're gone. I think that's the A-B kind of version. It just depends on how heated Jerry Jones is as we keep losing, because it's going to happen. We still play the Ravens. We still play the Steelers. I mean, we play the Eagles one more time. I mean, we got the Bengals who just upsetted today, a playoff team, Rams. So, I mean, this could get real ugly and real out of hand fast.
Yeah, I mean, kind of backing off what he said, I mean, you have to figure that if it's not McCarthy's job on the line, because you can maybe chalk it up to COVID. You could say we didn't get the reps we needed. I didn't get to share my playbook like I wanted. But if if their defense keeps playing at the way that they're playing and they don't look motivated, they keep letting up 30+ points a game, you could almost chalk it up saying like, Mike Nolan, you're out of here. He's going to be at least the scapegoat of the season, like saying you need to go, because his defensive schemes as of right now aren't working. The defense at least looked better last year compared to this year, and it's the same players. Yeah, you had Van Der Esch injured early on. You had Sean Lee coming back tonight. I think you guys are missing a corner too. I forget his name.
Nailed it.
But needless to say, you got these same players, and they're just not playing, and they're not playing the way that they should. Especially D-Law. That dude got a contract, and he's been kind of MIA. And so is it the coaching? Is it the players? But if you're going to fire someone, I feel like kind of like the Eagles with Jim Schwartz kind of using him as a scapegoat, I would assume Dallas would use Nolan as a scapegoat.
Yeah, and to keep on that, I feel like it is Jerry Jones is not getting any younger, as you said. So it's going to be one of those. We got to see some action soon, and you guys have the team, so it's not like he's put out a bad team and he's expecting miraculous results. He expects what you guys have on paper. So I'm not mad at him in that sense. I think the real question becomes what he's going to do as far as contracts go, because when Dak comes back, that's going to be a big. I don't want to get too deep into that. We'll talk about that later. But as far as the Eagles, we also have some people that need to go. All right. So we just said Mike Nolan might be on the hot seat. Mike McCarthy might be on the hot seat. Who do you think from the Eagles? Who needs to go? I'll start it with you, Brandon. Then you think of some people that you maybe think we on our side need to chop.
Yeah, if we don't make the playoffs and we continue on the trajectory of, let's say we lose tonight and then we just keep losing, our record stinks and we end up with a top 10 pick, there's going to have to be a scapegoat. You're not going to be able to go to next season saying we're going to be better because we'll be healthier and keep the same coaching staff. There's going to have to be a mix-up. And if that means Jim Schwartz leaving and picking up somebody, that might be the move. I kind of like the swag and enthusiasm that, I hate to say the team, but Dallas's defensive coordinator from last year, I forget his name, but he was super enthusiastic. Not the older guy, the younger guy. Nate, what was his name?
Rashard Richard, if I'm not mistaken, that's what his name is. He's talking about the young black dude. Yeah. Fired up like old school, high school. Friday night lights football. That's what we need tonight.
I liked him.
This dude just broke his phone.
Got me. Damn it!
Like that's a guy. Like when you're looking at the defensive coordinators, maybe or even like a Dan Quinn or something, just like someone that has that repertoire of like being a good defensive coordinator. Even though if he didn't, Chris Richard, that was his name. Yeah, like something like that. You have to find. We won't be able to get to next season and say it was Wentz. There's going to be a scapegoat. It's going to be a coach, and I believe it might be Schwartz if that's the case.
Man, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. Who is y'all's play caller? Is it Doug Peterson? Like, real question, not.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you're not going to fire the guy. You guys just won a Super Bowl 3 years ago, and y'all deal with injury. You're not going to fire him, but. A little fun stat that I saw. I can't remember. I don't want to say 30 games because 30 games is a lot. I think it's the last 15 games. In the last 15 games, the Eagles have only scored 30 points or more 3 times. So I think you guys hire an offensive coordinator and take it away from Peterson. Is that what I think might happen? You guys' defense is good. Y'all defense is what keeps y'all in the games. And y'all show glimpses like against Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh, 30-28? Or was that the Ravens? No, Ravens, 30-28 of having those. But I think Peterson just kind of got stagnant in his play calling. And, it was innovative when he came in the league. And, the famous touchdown pass that Nick Foles caught in the Super Bowl, little things like that. But I think you guys need a play caller that's just strictly offense. And if Peterson, with his offensive-minded self, can chime in like, hey, in this scenario, this is what we're going to do, like a head coach should, then I think that's the transition y'all need to get. So I think it's time to find an offensive coordinator from college, get some new stuff flowing in there for you guys, get Carson Wentz refreshed a little bit, a little fresh of breath there, and get some new plays in there.
Yeah, I didn't think I would say this whole stream, but I 100% agree. I think we need to add. You know what I'm saying? It might not be necessarily. I think we need to fire Jim Schwartz. To me, that's kind of obvious, but I don't even know if that's going to happen. But I've said that a million times. Gonna keep saying it till he's fired. But either way, on the offensive side, I definitely agree. I think we need to add somebody or give some of that control to the people that we have in there, because we have like 15 different offensive assistants. So maybe that's the route that we go. But As far as needs to go, definitely Jim Schwartz. That's definitely my answer. Shout out to James Odom real quick. Says love the channel, and we love you. The channel loves you. Shout out to the process. I'm going to read some of these. I just been kind of letting them go. The process says I need Fulgham to get 50 points for me to win fantasy. I'm down bad. This might be the team. This might be the team.
Hey boy, my boy Trayvon Diggs he's a risk taker. That boy is he gonna talk his junk like he did in McLaren and get washed up, so he might get that 50 points tonight.
I want to ask you though, what do you think as far as their defense goes? What is it missing, or is it play calling? Is it just lack of teaching?
I think the stupidest thing ever. And this is football 101. You don't switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4 with the same personnel. A 4-3 and a 3-4. 3-4, you got to have more athleticism. Marcus Lawrence should not be standing up without his hand in the ground. So when you go from a 4-3 to a 3-4, you got to do that like 2 years in advance, plan for it. You know what I'm saying? You're drafting. So you're going to draft outside linebackers that can go cover a slot, that can cover some area. You don't just wake up overnight and say, okay, when you're in, we're going to run a 3-4. You can't do that. So I think that's what it is on defense for us.
Yeah. And if you look at when we were with Chip, I believe we switched our defense. And then when we went right back to Doug, I believe Jim is who brought us back to a 4-3. I might be wrong with that, but I know we switched not too long ago. And it was smooth simply because we had the players to play that 4-3 anyways. We were playing out of position anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, and it made people like Brandon Graham look better and stuff like that. But what do you think, Brandon? What are your thoughts?
On the Cowboys defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You can't just assume that players like D-Law are going to look really good in the 3-4 when he got paid by flourishing in the 4-3. You have to at least, especially in a COVID season, you have to come in and not want to really switch things up. Like you take the notes, you see what was already in place. You talk to the players. Hey, what was working for you? Like, is there something that we can do to incorporate my defensive schemes to what you want to do or what you were flourishing in? But if you just come in without the reps of the preseason, without any preseason games to really see how it looks, anything like that, and just kind of go with the flow, then you're going to get results like they are now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope that they're at least bad for one more game. That would be awesome for me. We definitely could take that. But I don't know. It's hard to see it from my side of you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's me just kind of hating. So it's just me like, yeah, they suck. It is what it is. But they
now. Hey, what I will tell you is this though, not to cut you off, but y'all can call me crazy. I think Van Der Esch missing games for his leadership and his ability to take over the huddle was big. And what I mean by that is Jalen Smith in Notre Dame, he lived off his athleticism. I'm the number one player. I can run faster than you. I can go sideline and sideline faster than you. And he had to learn how to adjust his body because of his injury. And then meanwhile, he had Van Der Esch next to him to go, east to west, things that he couldn't do. And now he could just go north to south. Now Van Der Esch is out 6-7 games, and now he has to do everything and then expose him completely because he can't do that because of his leg.
And you guys have Sean Lee coming back, right? This game?
Yeah, but I think that's more valuable just in the presence of adjustments on the D lineman, what gaps to go into and what to look for. I don't really see it as an advantage playing on the field itself, like athleticism. I just think of it as positions on where to be, which can ultimately help, of course. But, I think that's the value that Sean Lee brings back tonight.
Yeah, more of the mental side of it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, true. Especially against our offensive line. If you can outsmart our offensive line, you might beat them because we got terrible.
The Eagles have like a makeshift line tonight. Like we have Jason Peters coming back, but he's been hurt. And I feel like every time he comes in the game, he plays about 2 quarters, and next we're seeing him grabbing his leg and he's walking off. And if that happens, and then what? Then we're going to what? move Jordan Mailata from starting at right tackle to then maybe bringing him back to left tackle and then putting someone at right tackle. We just have to hope for the best, but it could potentially be a mess and a benefit for you Cowboys. But my question now is, now we've been talking about defense and everything like that. What about the Cowboys offense, Joe? What do you think that our defense can do? Because at the end of the day, yeah, they have Ben Dinucci starting, but they still have Zeke, they still have Amari, they still have Gallup, they still have CD, Schultz, the tight end. He's not terrible. He's athletic. He can get open in the zones and stuff. What does our defense need to do to just slow down this offense?
Honestly, we have to get to Dinucci, and we have to get in that backfield because that will stop Zeke. The best way to stop Zeke is to stop him before he starts. Once he hits the line of scrimmage, once he gets a yard or two, that's when I feel like he's most dangerous because he has a little bit of a head of steam. So if you're in the backfield and you're making plays back there, that's how we're ultimately going to stop this offense. We can't give him time to get the offense going. If you watch the throws that he had last week, obviously he got kind of demolished by that defensive line. But the one big throw that he got, I don't know if you guys remember that one. It was kind of like down the seam on the sideline. I don't know if you guys, it was in between two people. It was actually a really good throw. It is what it is. So he has the ability to make throws. So we can't give him the time to make throws. So that kind of goes into the next thing of the keys to victory. So that's kind of one of the keys to victory for me. What about you guys think?
Man, I think the key today is since it's his first start and is against the Eagles, he's going to be nervous. The guy that's been there since day one, you got to give it to Zeke. You got to get Zeke out of the slump. He's in a slump, and you got to get him some confidence going. So whether it's running with 3 tight ends, get that extra block, help him get a 10-yard run, get him going. Once he starts feeling himself a little bit, it's hard to slow him down. But if you start Dinucci throwing these 5-yard passes, then you go 3 and out, and then you don't get Zeke going, I think it's a long day. So I think the key to victory is going to be Zeke. They got to lean on him. No Dak is all Zeke. That's how it was, 2 years ago, right? When everybody said Dak couldn't throw a 10-yard pass. It's Zeke, stop Zeke, and you win the game. I think you got to go back to that today. It doesn't matter who's on the offensive line. They're big boys, 300 pounds, block the guy in front of you. You're a grown man.
Yeah, I mean, Joe hit it on the nail on the head. Is to stop Zeke. I mean, that's gonna be the key to today's victory. Is stopping Zeke. Yeah, Dinucci might get some passes off, but unless this dude comes out looking like Joe Montana or something, I mean, and honestly, you just never know with this Eagles Cowboys rivalry and games like that. This dude could end up playing the game of his life and walking out like Rudy or something, just on people's shoulders and just cheering. Hope to God that doesn't happen, but you just never know. It's the game of football. It's the NFL. They're all professionals. But our defensive line needs to step up, and they need to just cause havoc. I think Dallas is getting Zach Martin back today. They're getting their center back, Looney. So I mean, those are good pieces, but they're left and right tackles. Both tackles they're not that great, at least from what I hear. I'm not like the Cowboys expert or anything, but from what I hear, they ain't playing so hot. So our defensive ends, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, Vinny Curry, they need to go off today. Maybe is Malik Jackson out today?
I don't know, honestly.
Well, if he's playing, then he's another one. Yeah, right? Weissley will let us know. Weissley, is Malik Jackson playing? Yeah, and then on top of that, it's the offense. This is a chance that we need to show out. The Cowboys haven't been playing their best defense, so don't let it start tonight. Tonight, if there's a game to show out and play from start to finish, not trying to come from behind at the end of games and try to pull miracles, this is the game to do it. Right before the bye week, we get off to a hot start, we continue it going, and then if we get this dub today, we go into the bye week and we get healthier, and then we play the Giants. So that's another chance to just keep the momentum going.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have to go crazy on this team. We can't do none of that. Wait till the fourth quarter to come out and go crazy and pull out some miracle win. No, it has to be from the beginning, kind of like what Nate said too. You gotta the first two plays. Not first two plays really for me, but the first two drives for me. will tell a lot. If we can come out fast and we can come out consistently fast, you know what I'm saying? Not just like one great drive and then the next one's a 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? Like we've done before. We just need to play a consistent game for once. That's really what I want to see. Now I want to know from both of y'all. Well, mainly from like the Dallas perspective, and then obviously you can chime in as well. But I kind of want to know your thoughts on Travis Fulgham so far. Who do you think is going to be? Bears and Saints in overtime. But who do you think is
Uh-oh.
gonna? Yeah, that's we're gonna hear all the Foles lovers coming in here. That's probably where they are. But
Right.
who do you think is gonna be tasked with having to cover Travis Fulgham?
Well, I would say we don't have a lockdown corner worthy of following. Your typical number one corner should follow the number one receiver. So I think they're gonna go with the hot hand in general. We don't have nobody with a hot hand, but they're gonna start the game off, and I think Cheeto will be on him, or Stephon Diggs will be on him. And then so something happens and somebody gives up a big play, then they'll switch up. But I think it's gonna be probably Stephon Diggs that starts on him. Uh, Man, call it what y'all want. He's going through a lot of growing pains, and I know y'all don't watch the Cowboys game like that. You probably watched that one big play he gave up against the Redskins, and that's kind of his reputation right now. But in like about 2 years, that dude's gonna be a top 5 corner. You watch.
Top
And
five.
the reason why I say that is a lot of the passes that he's missed has been like by fingertips where guys are getting good catches on the ball. He has given up big plays, but I think it's from thinking he has safety help, not the Redskins play, because that was just a bonehead play, but he just got burnt, whatever the story is. But a lot of the plays, like the one against Metcalf, where Metcalf should have scored and he punched it out, he thought he had safety help over the top. I think he's going to come along. His brothers, Stephon Diggs, he's been playing against a lot of guys in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb, he was his teammate and stuff like that. So I think he has a lot of experience, and I think it's going to show. And this year, he's going through the growing pains. I think that can only help him.
I think coaching has a lot to do with these young kids too. You know what I'm saying? So if his coaching isn't, is subpar, we'll say, it's going to show. And that also you can go with Jim Schwartz on that too, because you see a lot of these guys either regress or it's so hard to tell because it's like people like Cravion LeBlanc looked great last year and then this year he looks terrible. But it's like it's just so confusing to me because there's no consistency in the play. But what are your thoughts, Brandon?
I mean, I don't really know too much. Like obviously, like I watch the Cowboys here and there, but I don't know who would guard Fulgham. I mean, I don't see like Fulgham's been good. Don't get me wrong, but Fulgham's not like a Michael Thomas right now. He's not a DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if Fulgham beckons the starting corner to follow him around the field. Like I think even like when we played the Rams, like they even put Jalen Ramsey on Ertz. Like Ertz is someone that has earned that respect. I think Fulgham still needs to prove that respect. But now that we're getting like Jalen Reagor back, and then Wentz's top choice of wide receiver is Greg Ward. So to just limit your number one corner to one player against an army of just like middle class players in a sense, and so further evidence from these guys. Would probably do a disservice to the Cowboys.
See, I feel like once we get a couple pieces back, once we get past the bye, if we make a playoffs, right, and we don't have any catastrophic injuries, I think we're going to be a scary team, right? I don't think the Cowboys have that option right now, but if Ben Dinucci, I'm bringing this into something, I promise. Now, if Ben Dinucci wins a couple games, or if he wins this game, let's say he wins this game and he plays well, does that change your outlook for the season? Does it? I know a lot of Cowboy fans are saying tank for this guy, tank for that guy. Does that kind of change your outlook? Do you say let's see if we can win this?
Man, I've been getting a lot of heat for the way I feel because everybody says, man, you got to have competitive spirit. You want to win a division. Do I want to win a division and go get rocked by Seattle, by Green Bay, by a Saints team, 49ers, Rams, whoever that? No. Now, in the perfect world, it's funny because it's sad, but if you go 6-10, win the division, you get to see a playoff game, but you still get a top 10 pick. Cool, that's fun and that's exciting. But man, we're not a threat to nobody. We're just not. We're just not. So I'd rather get these guys experience and whatnot. And I'm not saying go out there and lose on purpose. I'm not saying that. But we're not going to go be 9-7 and be a threat to anybody. That defense, everybody's saying, go trade for Cam Newton, go trade for Jameis Winston. Some of these quarterbacks, first of all, football 101, you're not going to trade a quarterback in the middle of the season that knows a whole other team's playbook and expect them to come out and gun it. This ain't street football, so that ain't going to be successful. And number two, Andy Dalton, everybody thought was the guy, and he can't even do it. So in that offensive line is not going to allow us in the defense. That's not a winning formula. When have you ever seen a team win a Super Bowl or even be a threat with the worst defense in NFL history?
All right.
Yeah, that defense is rough. Definitely rough. I see it. If we lose this game, honestly, I might be in that boat with you. And I know it's going to suck because it's going to be like you guys are going to be tanking either way, most likely. Not to say it like that, but it's not going to be like, that's what. I just want to win this game and keep on going and keep thinking, I'm going to keep my positivity until we are like completely out of the playoff picture. That's where I am right now. But
to keep it going
Right.
on like the young players, like I agree with Nate, especially when it comes to the Eagles. It's like the way that our record is right now, it doesn't hurt, especially with the division. It's one thing if the division was like out of reach or anything like that, but the fact that every team in our division keeps losing and everything, why not give the younger guys a shot? I mean, we've been talking about our linebacking core this whole season so far. Why not give the young guys a chance to go through these growing pains, like how they have Diggs going through growing pains, learn from these experiences? Because that's honestly the only way you're going to learn. Not every player that comes out of college is really good in the NFL. It takes some times. Like you don't hear about some dudes for a couple seasons. Next thing you know, it's like, where the hell have they been? And so just kind of getting these young guys in. If mistakes are going to happen, let them make the mistakes and let them learn from them.
Yeah, that's why I want to
Man,
see.
I'd rather Diggs get burnt at 2-6. I'd rather Diggs get burnt on a play at 2-6 than in a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to remember next Sunday that Diggs got burnt. So,
oh no, we'll all remember. I'll remember. I'll clip it for you. Don't worry. I will be there. Nah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
Right.
We got to get these young guys in there. And honestly, for the Eagles, I feel like it's kind of been a blessing in a sense because we got some good guys on that offensive line, some young guys. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't played perfect. They haven't played, all pro level, but
they're getting experience.
I feel comfortable going in a game with them. My thing with the Eagles, like, see with the Cowboys, you guys have major injuries. You know what I'm saying? You have a bad defense. But if we're talking injuries, we're just saying you have major injuries, With the Eagles, it's been consistent injuries. Like, we can't put out the same team for more than a week. You know what I'm saying? That's like, I think our biggest. So that's why I'm still a little confident, just because I feel like if we can put out the same team for a couple of weeks, we can probably be a decent team. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have had people like Travis Fulgham kind of, emerge. We've had, like I said, a couple of offensive linemen emerge that they can play. So if we can keep the same team for a little while, I think we have a shot to be a competitive team. Maybe not the best team, maybe not a Super Bowl competitor, maybe not a deep playoff run, but a competitive team. So that's really where my head is right now at this point.
Right.
But
yeah,
I do want to see the young guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, and I guess this is a question for Nate. You hear Eagle fans complaining about Jason Peters, mostly because of his age, but he typically has been getting hurt pretty much every year the last couple of years, even going back to 2017 when we got our Super Bowl. So that's our left tackle. At what point, as a Dallas fan, are you kind of saying, maybe we need to start looking at a future left tackle with Tyron Smith? Because I feel like he's another injury-prone left tackle that has been great during his time, but then he's missing a big chunk of time as well.
Well, the sad part about Tyron or Smith is what's Peters, 36, 37?
He's like 38.
Right. Well, at least he lasted until then. Smith is only like 31, something like that. I mean, in the best case scenario, I hate saying it because I love the dude and he's a Cowboy, but the best thing that could happen for us because his contract is him retiring. So all that dead money comes off. I mean, is he worth having 6, 7, 8 games a year? I mean, yeah, when he plays those games, but you do need to draft somebody and start plug and play. And but I think he's probably going to retire soon if I had a, because his injuries have been pretty serious, not like ACL. It's been his back. I mean, that's been the injury the last 2 years, and now it's his neck with a stinger that was lingering from last year. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be consulting with his family throughout these times this year and kind of say it's time to hang up cleats, I think, soon.
Yeah, that was. Hey, it is what I feel like. I don't want to say that it's sad for Tyron Smith. I feel like 31 is respectable. Especially when you're a starter coming in the league. I feel like it's more commendable to say that Jason Peters is at 38 still, a player. I at this point, I feel like he's milking it. Let's say that he got to 36 and he was still a very good player. You know what I'm saying? These past 2 years, I feel like he's kind of milking it at the point. And to be honest with you, I don't think he should be playing at left tackle today, but that's my opinion on it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't bite us in the butt, because my whole thing is it's not so much that I think he's going to be terrible at the position. It's just that I feel like midway through the game, we're going to have to switch anyways, because I don't feel like he's going to make it through the whole game. So that's really where it comes to it for me. But yeah, and we also have some other guys. We got, Kayvon, we got other people. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get some young guys out there and play. So let me ask you guys this. What do you think what if you lose? Like, what if the Eagles lose? What next? What if the Cowboys lose or win, if that's worse for you? What's next?
Right.
I mean, what's next is Eagles going into the bye week. I mean, I've been saying this at least the last 2 weeks, is if we could beat the Giants, beat the Cowboys, and then get into the bye week, and then we have the Giants again. So it's not like we have to get out the bye week and go play this juggernaut of a team. Now, after the Giants, we have a pretty hard schedule coming up. I think we have like the Seahawks, the Saints, the Packers. Like, we have a stretch of like really tough teams after the Giants. But this is a time to get these quote unquote easy wins for other teams. For us in the East, it's super battles. But we just need to get into the bye and kind of get healthier and get the momentum rolling. At least ideally, that's what we would want. Or I would want.
Man, if the Cowboys lose today, I need to see some fight. Like I said in the start, I need to see some effort. There's 25-3. That really surprised me last week because I feel like it's a bad Madden game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt when I was watching the Redskins game. They kept. I feel like the Cowboys are jinxed. Whenever they say a stat, the broadcaster says a stat, literally the opposite happens. They said Gibson's never rushed for over 56 yards in his career. He had 79 by the end of the first quarter. The Redskins haven't scored more than 15 points or haven't scored 20 points since week 1. They put up 25 points. It's just – so I need to see something. I need to see some life. Get the ball to Cooper. Give me some excitement. I mean, that's what I'm looking for because it's going to get ugly here soon because Lamar Jackson about to rush for like 300 on it. Juju and that dude Clayton over there in Pittsburgh might have 150 each when they play us. So it's about to get ugly fast over here.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. We got to take advantage of that defense, man. If our offense cannot take advantage of the defense right now, that's what I'm more worried about. If we win, cool. But if we win and it's like 13-10, yeah, if it's like 13-10 and our offense didn't do shit, or excuse me, and our offense didn't do anything,
you need some college style points tonight.
Bro, I need
rankings. That's what you
just
need.
like our Madden league. I need the score run up. You know what I'm saying? I need 50-0 real quick. Like, I need to see our offense go out there and put in work. But what do you guys think we're gonna see from Wentz? Do you think he can do it? Do you think he has the team around him to do it? Anyone?
Man, so I think today, man, it's tough to tell in these kind of games. You said, Brandon, the game is gonna be raining. I've been lost all day, so I've been doing homework and stuff. But it's gonna be raining hard today at the game.
It was raining earlier. I don't know if it's still raining, but it's raining hard in Connecticut, so it could be. I have to look at the weather, but when it was showing, when they were doing like a preview of the game or whatever on TV, there was rain coming down. They had the mats out and everything around the field.
Well, I mean, I think nonetheless, it's Wentz's type of weather, anyways, from the college, and he's been playing in Philly the last 3, 4 years. So Cowboys don't like cold and rainy environments. So I think Wentz's stat line today, if I had to put a prediction on it, will be like 23 of 33 and like 320 with 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Hey, that ain't bad.
I seriously, I do think so. I do think so.
And to answer the question, can Wentz do it? I mean, he's done it before. There was one, I think it was in 2017. I mean, I hate to bring back multiple years back, but it's a similar Cowboys team with a couple different players on defense. Well, man, I guess a little bit more than a couple, but either way, he put up 30 something against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have done the same to the Eagles when they were fully stocked and healthy and ready to go. So, I mean, the possibility is there. And I think Wentz strives with these younger guys without the egos and with just wanting to just get people the ball and just getting the ball out and trusting these young guys and really orchestrating the offense. It all depends, I think, on Doug Peterson's play calls. Like, I feel like Wentz has some power to audible out of things, but at the same time, when you look at those crucial moments on 2-point conversions or going for it on fourth down, those can't be audible plays by Carson Wentz. Wentz wasn't able to say, you know what, I'm not Cam Newton. Maybe we should throw the ball on this one or try a different play. But I think it comes down to Doug's play calling, getting creative, and calling more screens and getting the ball out of his hands quick, because that's the only way these deep plays are going to work. Wentz loves to throw that deep ball, and the only way that's going to work is if we get the defense coming up a little bit, get the safeties creeping, and then go over the top.
Yeah, we need to get that running game going, man. And hopefully, Boston can do something, hopefully, because –
Man, and also look out. Again, y'all don't watch a lot of Cowboys games, but I can see Doug Peterson throwing in a trick play or two, because the Browns did it to Odell to basically seal the game. The Redskins did it last week. I think the Falcons did a flea flicker, and Julio Jones dropped a touchdown pass that probably would have sealed the game. So every team has done a trick play against us every single game, and it's all worked so far, I think, except the Falcons one. So I could see Doug Peterson doing something with Jalen Hurts to come in and do some trickery somewhere. So
yeah,
look out for a little excitement there.
I've been saying that I want to see more Jalen Hurts. I've said I would love to see him in on like 40% of the snaps. And I'm not saying as a quarterback on every snap. I'm saying as some type of role, because you have him there. He was a second-round pick. Get some value out of him. Like, and when he's when he's been on the field, he's made plays. So it's not like he's out there and he's looking, confused with the ball in his hand. So, let's get some plays going. And you forgot about a trick play. Let's not forget that trick play the Falcons did run, that they try to pretend like they didn't see the onside kick, and they just kind of looked at it, like rolling by them. Yeah, that was a crazy trick play. That unfortunately didn't work for them. But so let me ask you guys this real quick. For this game and going forward, you know what I'm saying? I know we're going to have another Cowboys game, but we'll see what happens then. What do you think are your biggest concerns from here on out?
Are you talking about the game specifically tonight?
Well, the game tonight and just here on out. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of going forward. What are your biggest concerns about your team?
I think for the Cowboys, obviously the defense is the easy way out on that question, but I think it's the locker room. With the headlines, the players talking about the coaches don't know how to coach and they don't know how to do this. Then you go trade Griffin off. Then you go cut Poe, and then you go cut Worley, which is a corner of ours that was more of a depth guy. Then you got Mike McCarthy 6 games in having to talk about his locker room. I think it's a matter of how they didn't want to help Dalton get up or fight for him. I think it's a matter of, do they have fight left in them? And that's an image of the coach and the environment in that locker room. Is Zeke going to go in there and lower his shoulder and keep grinding it out? So I think it's about the fight and the effort for the rest of the year. So my biggest concern is effort or lack thereof for us.
Yeah, my biggest concern is the offensive line and the shuffling of the offensive line. It seems that even when we get the young, because it's not even just the old guys getting hurt. It's not just JP. It's not just Lane Johnson. He's a little bit older, but it's the young guys too. It's our rookie Jack Driscoll. He's getting hurt, and Matt Pryor's just coming back, and Sam Malu's been out. Like we've lost some of our young guys as well, and it's been shuffling every game, different rotation, different people plugging in here, and no continuity. And then that plays in your quarterback's head. Like, am I really going to get protected on my left side? Am I really going to be protected from my right? Are they just going to run a stunt and I'm going to get hit hard up the middle? Because I mean, those have been things that have, unfortunately, like, yeah, you have Kelsey, who's been the anchor. But when they run those stunt plays and the guard still hasn't shifted over or switched off, they're just getting easy plays up the middle if it's stopping the run or getting Carson. And Carson is just tossing it up there or trying to run 20 yards backwards and try to do some like makeshift. His juking skills cracks me up because he's just running backwards and he goes one way, tries to cut back the other. And sometimes it works. And sometimes it's just like, bro, throw the ball away. You're out of the pocket. What are you doing?
Yeah, he ducks too much for me. That's what.
Oh, and that's another thing. He does that duck move where he just gets down under, and I mean, it works at times. It looks dope when it does, but I feel like that his back's going to get hurt doing that. But yeah, it's just the offensive line and consistency, and just trying to get that continuity, just making sure that these guys are healthy enough to keep playing and hopefully stay healthy. Because a lot of the best teams out there, their offensive lines have been healthy and going.
Yeah, we definitely need some consent. I just want to see a blowout, man. I'm just like, I'm just so hyped.
I'm just looking at the time, just seeing the time.
I
just
know
want
this
to
game
see a game time
for everybody, but like to me, I don't care. This is like the game of the year every year.
Hey, Castro, I got a question for you. I know
course.
Brandon's take on it, but would you, knowing the Eagles, if whether you think y'all a contender or not, I know that sounds funny to non-NFL, NFC East fans, right? But would you trade for Gilmore from the Patriots? He's 30 years old. He probably got 2 years left on the other side of Slay. Do you see yourself taking on that contract or trading away a first-round pick, maybe, or maybe even Ertz in the off season for him because they're both the same age?
It would take
a lot. It's worth it knowing that the way your team is built.
Would I, if everything else didn't matter, if it was just like a, you know what I'm saying, Madden type trade that we could just make it happen? Yeah, I would definitely. If you're telling me Ertz for Gilmore, I'm down with it. Even if we have to throw in like a third or a second, I would probably be down with that, to be honest.
But I'm talking about right now in 2 days, the trade deadline's going on. Let's say y'all lose tonight or y'all win tonight.
I would personally do it. It's just we couldn't afford it. It wouldn't even. Like, it just couldn't happen. Yeah. Like, it would take a lot. I don't want to say it couldn't happen, but it would take a lot for that to, like, fiscally, money-wise happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, me personally, would I do it on paper? Definitely. But it just, I don't think it could happen. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I stand. Like,
what if they threw an Alshon? Maybe that money would help.
If you don't get me wrong, yeah, if you can make it happen, throw everybody in. Shoot, Nathan Gary gets like $2 million. Like throw that in. Like shoot, you know what I'm saying? Let's take Jim Schwartz's salary. I don't care who we gotta not pay, but you know, just where we are right now, it just doesn't look like something that we could do. Now, I do think, you know, to kind of play off of that, I do think we should package Ertz in some type of deal that gets us upgrade at maybe a cornerback or more likely a linebacker. I feel like that's really what we need right now. But, you know, cornerback is in that conversation. Offensive line could be in that conversation, but it really comes down to who. Because it's like, you don't get a right guard if you believe in Brandon Brooks, you know, and I do. I feel like Brandon Brooks will come back. You obviously don't get a right tackle. Maybe you get a left tackle, but I kind of believe in Jordan Mailata right now, and we still have Dillard coming back. Left guard, maybe center, maybe. Those are the only two positions. So I mean, like if you're gonna trade, I think it's gonna be for a middle linebacker. I think that's really the only piece right now that
Right.
would improve our team overall.
Yeah, I don't think teams are really trading offensive linemen like that, anyways.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the lineman's good enough to be like that, you would want to trade for. Chances are they're good enough to start in whatever system or team that they're on. So I don't really see unless you're getting like a bench player that's pretty decent and you're only giving up like a 4th, 5th round pick, then I could see that. But I don't really see a good starting offensive lineman going to be available for trade at least mid-season. Off-season, maybe you can switch it up because of contract stuff and all that. But mid-season offensive line trades, it's kind of like quarterback. There's not really much out there. Definitely linebacker, I see. I think they like our corners. I think they like Maddox. I think they like Strap. They like Slay. Obviously, Slay's been killing it so far this season. But I think they like these young dudes. And so I don't really see it. I mean, they should have kept Sidney Jones, in my opinion. But I don't see if anyone's getting traded, it's for a linebacker or they'll do something crazy like another defensive lineman because they just love.
So, but my question is this though: do you guys want to make a trade to improve, or would you rather have a better draft position? It kind of goes back to.
I mean, I think that depends on today. If if we go into the bye and if we all jokes aside, if we go out there and we blow you out and we look like the better team and we look like we have a team, I think it's a definite. We can't trade Ertz right now because he's on IR. But I think that it's definitely something that you look at to improve that linebacking core.
But not a Golden Tate trade. That like stuff like that.
It has to be something that improve. I mean, don't get me wrong. I obviously don't know how he would do. Maybe he would do something dumb like that. But in my opinion, in my sight, it seems like you would improve your weakest position, which right now is linebacker. And if you look at Jim Schwartz and you look at like the past couple of years, our defense has been beaten up. This is probably the healthiest we've been, but he always seems to come together in these last couple games. Like in the last 8 games, he seems to get his defense together. I don't know what it is, but if you look at it, it just is what it is. I don't know how he does it, but he does. So, if he can do something like that again, and he has somebody that he can build that defense around for the second half of the season, and it just plays back on that. I feel like we could be a dangerous team. You know what I'm saying? Like we just have to have the players in the positions. You know what I'm saying?
What's funny about all this is that since 2017, since you guys won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles and Wentz hurt and line and receivers, I hear you guys talk. And you guys are so used to that next man up mentality that you guys laugh at the Cowboys fans because we're in panic. We're like, yo, we got my next door neighbor playing right tackle tonight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so this is we're not used to this. We're used to like Sean Lee or somebody like that or Smith getting hurt, but it's like one person at a time getting hurt, not the whole offensive line. And we got, a junior high school players coming in there and trying to fill in. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny seeing y'all perspective and seeing how much y'all believe in y'all team that we're not used to this shit at all. So we're like, nope.
That's what I was telling you too. That's what I was telling you online. That's what I was telling you online. It's like, I understand. Don't get me wrong. And like, it sucks. Don't get me, and I'm sure, even Brandon can attest to this, man. Like, yeah, I agree with you, Prophet, that I would rather see Lane Johnson take this week off and get healthy. But I feel like Brandon will attest to this. At the end of the day, we didn't win a Super Bowl for like 50-something years. And I feel like every time we make the playoffs, it's a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give us a chance. Because like that's all I want. Just give us a chance. If we have a chance, I feel like we can do something. You know what I mean? And everything's a win, in my opinion. When you're in the playoffs, if you can at least get some young guys, some experience, whatever it may be, or you get that hardware, you know what I'm saying? You got to take it as a win and build off of it. So, that's the culture, though. That goes back to culture. You guys got Jerry, we got Jeffrey.
Yeah.
We just got that culture. So let's end it off with this. I want to know your guys' Sunday night football predictions. All right, let's keep it, as not morbid, not let's keep it like happy-ish, maybe.
What was the question? What did you say?
The
What's your
Sunday night
prediction?
predictions.
If I'm going realistic, I think Eagles win 31-15. If I'm being biased, I think it's a 20-17 Cowboys win. But I've been saying all week, and I'm not going to change up just for the show. I've been saying all week, the Cowboys are going to lose tonight. It's just a matter of how we're going to lose, or is it just flat? Is it just sad? We should have gotten, taken off a Sunday night football type of bad football, or is it going to be a close game? Even though I think we're going to lose 31-15, I still want us to win. I still want us to, some dramatic fashion happen. But I think y'all win 31-15, and I think it's over by the end of the third quarter.
15 is a random number. How'd you get to 15? I just want to know.
5 field goals.
Is that 5?
No touch. Yeah, that's
you want
5
to know
field
how?
goals.
Like, how did you get to
You know why? I'm basically saying that we ain't scoring a touchdown. Greg Zerline's giving you all the fantasy points.
Hey, I got him.
Hot
Don't get me
take,
wrong.
hot
I
take.
got Greg. I got
Hot
Greg
take.
starting.
I do too.
So tough because the super biased fan of me, I want this, like Joe has been saying, to be a blowout. I want this to be a 40-10 game, something that at halftime people are like, "Oh, I'm going to bed," and I'm still up, just excited about seeing how much we can score. But to be realistic, the NFC East plays tough against each other all the time. There's the occasional one team plays better, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, both teams are still beat up. Both teams are getting some players back. You guys don't have your quarterback, but what you guys do have is a quarterback that no one really knows about. He's built like a kicker, but he's athletic. Like, it's crazy. And I saw
stay off my Facebook comments.
Gucci is Dinucci.
I saw that. I thought that was hilarious. Whoever said that, but he's unknown. He's the unknown factor. No one really knows his play. Like, yeah, you can look at people's college film, but at the end of the day, you don't know how he's going to react in the NFL. Is he going to rise to the occasion? Is he going to be able to get the ball out to your big playmakers who are playmakers? Like, Amari does have a good amount of days. Some games he plays well, some games he doesn't.
House.
Yeah, that was wild.
He's ready for it. I mean, he has Zeke behind him. You're hoping that Zeke can carry y'all, but like I said, NFC East plays tough against each other. You would have thought we were going to knock out the Giants pretty bad. We end up winning by 1 point. So I'm going to go 24-14.
I'm going 30,000. No, I was kidding. I'm going to go. I've been thinking 27-21. That's what I really think. I think it's going to be it's not going to be a blowout in the sense of score, but it's going to be one of those games that we kind of dominate all game, and then you guys kind of score some points at the end because we don't have a good
boy. I
defense.
would love to see us put up 21 points.
We don't have a good defense.
21 points.
That's what I'm saying. Like, being realistic, our team is not that. Like, we, as a fan, you envision that your team is better than what they are because all you want to do is stick up for them. You want to predict wins. You want to, like, if it was up to us, we'd be undefeated every year. But at the end of the day, it's the NFL. It's the NFC East. You just never know, and our teams aren't that great right now. And
it's being humble. It's about being humble because it's like if you say that we're going to win by 30,
we ain't trying to jinx
losing by 15.
Trying to jinx it, or you're on the podcast. You were talking
exactly right.
Hey, on a side note, for whoever does watch this, I got to give all the respect to my Browns fans, my Lions fans, the Cardinal fans, because I've gone through this for 14 days. And I don't like it. I don't like it now one bit. And I don't know how they still go to the games. I don't know how they buy jerseys all the time. They were bad 0-16 seasons, 4 or 5 years in a row of top 5 picks. I can't do it. I can't do it. So they better figure it out. Fire McCarthy tomorrow. If that means we win again, I don't care. I can't do it. 14 days too long.
See, that's how the Eagles are with like about 2 quarters. If we have 2 quarters of bad football, the Eagles fans are done. We're letting you know and it's a wrap. Like you're either getting fired at halftime or something's happening. Like
or you
greatness.
got people on podcasts saying start Jalen Hurts at halftime.
I don't know who would say
who
that,
does that. Who does
I would never know. But speaking of podcasts, we are going to end this one a little bit earlier than I usually do because I want you all to go watch the national anthem. Why do I want you to go watch the national anthem? Because we had Rico Anderson on about like last week. So if you want to go watch that before the national anthem, the link is in my description to this video. So definitely go check that out. Check him out. Shout out to Rico. Yeah, that's gonna be dope. So either way, if we win or lose, at least we got that little win. He's from Philly, so that's a good look right there. But is there anything you guys want to say before we get off of here? It's time to get ready, boys.
It's game time, man. It's game time.
All I'm saying, if that boy Dinucci lights y'all up, I'm coming on tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
I'm coming on tomorrow.
We will be. Oh, you more than welcome. It's not gonna happen. If Dinucci lights us up, this is turning into a cooking show. But but y'all know what time it is, man. It's Fly Eagles flying. We are out here. Peace.